Hey, give me a second. Let me reset my mic. Just realized I didn't bring myself anything up to drink during the broadcast. But anyhow, good afternoon, Shaggy SoCal 12 for Forza, and this is the first of the final two track guides for the season in the Mazda 323. First up will be Hockenheim Ring Short. So this one I'm also going to be experimenting with a couple of things. Based off, it's an intermittent issue that I've been trying to figure, at least trying to understand. I noticed like late in some of the race broadcasts, we get like a lot of staticky sound that comes through. I never hear it in the headset. So what little online research I've been doing is it's something at least where the suspicion is it's with I'm doing it old school way or cheap way. I'm just doing Twitch integrated in with the Xbox Series X and streaming that way. Supposedly there's an intermittent issue depending on the bit rate, you know, that the audio is going out at that can start staticking after X amount of time. So hopefully the first half of this particular broadcast will be fine. I think when I finish, you know, again, I'm going to do what I normally do. I'm going to run a couple of out laps, and then I'll do a track walk at that point, you know, track walk. Just kind of point out things I've been noticing in driving this Mazda around Hockenheim. And then just because I do need to practice with some traffic, I'm going to run a mock race, where I think the race distance is, so I get an understanding of what the car is going to do. Because I also have to run different tire compound and fuel load, so I want to get at least a little experience with that. Probably what I'm going to do is slightly pause the stream between the guide portion and the mock race, because at least one of the workarounds is, hey, if it does start to go staticky, you just pause your stream and restart it, and that seems to kind of reset it. Why they just don't figure out how to fix it, I don't know, but you know, we're gonna work with what we got. So that being said, so I'm at Hockenheim Ring. One thing I want to do before I do the test drives here is I'm not gonna go soft. So I am gonna go medium. I'm gonna want to run half a fuel load, and I figured that'll give a general idea for no matter what your compound or fuel load that you're running. You know, if you're running the soft tires, you know, you're going to have a little more grip than what I will have at this point. If you're running the hard tires, you're going to have a little less grip. And we'll see what happens there. All right, let's go ahead and start this race. First thing, at least just in a couple of the out laps I've done, is this car and Hockenheim's curbs do not get along at all. There's a couple you can run over, but most of the others you don't. You want to be careful of. Same section, a little bit lift at the apex just to help the car turn. You know, tires are still probably a little bit cold. And thinking about it. I'll wait till I get on the front straight. Work the access road, still kind of accurate there. There, like that curve. That curve. Alright, that way I can keep track of damage. Stretch fourth gear. Down to third. It's a little later than I wanted. That's a little bit better. When I was first running a couple of laps, I was pinching the exit a little too much out of two. A little bit more inside grass there than I really want. Just about to do that flat on the mediums. I'm going to do one more flyer. And then we'll do the We'll do the slower track walk. I gotta double check a couple of references. Still late. Not quite as much curving as I want to take there. A little bit better. So that's just kind of the initial laps. Let's do the slow track walk. So fourth gear, you'll be in fourth gear by the time you're getting to turn one. Now for me, static references to go with the braking line is we've got the corner worker shacks. Boy, I can't talk today. On the left side here, it's the first smaller one that I'm using as it's that seems to line up with the the suggested braking line as far as to get on the brakes. So it's right as I'm getting to that. What I'm trying to do is, and this is I haven't I've hit it once or twice in pre-broadcast laps, but what I'm trying to do is using that and using the braking line here. I'm trying to get my eyes to the apex. They're trying to spot those cones. Now, the red cones may or may not be there depending on on what's happened or if anybody's taken them out during the lap. But what I'm trying to do is I'm brake down to third. Probably as I'm getting, I'm trying to time the turn in probably as I'm getting to the access road here. But ideally, I think the ideal line that if you want to get the most out of turn one, is you want to be able to turn in. You don't want to cross the red curbing. What I'm trying to do is I'm actually just trying to hit my right side tires on that, solidly on the red curbing. So I'll get a little bit of a bounce. And if I've done it right, it puts me on a good angle out to where I'm not getting on this outside curbing at all or very little. Again, these kind of ridged curbings now, since they're actually now ridged curbings and not, noisy, noisy surfaces from the previous game. This curbing is still, the outside curbing here is still very rough. And at least with the way the suspension setup on this Mazda is that we're running, you're going to get a lot of vibration like that. So I'm not saying it's not one of those that's going to, pitch the car sideways all of a sudden or like that. Just know that if you get out in the curbing, it's going to upset the car, especially trying to get back on. So be gentle there. For me, ideally, again, I just want to clip the insides, that inside red curb with the right sides, and try to only, if I'm going to get on this curbing, I only want to be on that kind of the first section of it, just off to the left, and move on from there. I haven't pulled up track limits to see where it kind of rejoins, but I'm pretty sure you can use a lot of the double curbing, but you really want to start bringing it back over before it goes to single. So, but my general advice is the tighter you can be out of that corner, the better. Heading up here for turn two. What I'm using, it looks like the braking is right about the end of the red and white curbing here on the left side. So if you're following somebody and you can't see the braking line and you're relying on that, just look for the red and white curbing. As soon as you start hitting that section, if you're right on somebody's tail, you probably want to back off a little bit, give yourself a little room. You'll be third gear here, down to second. Turn-in for me is right about the end. You're going to be pretty slow here. As you turn in, and this is where I'm still playing around with it myself, I'm going to try and get my right sides to clip the end of this inside curbing on the way in, and that's what I'm also using as kind of my reference to when I can really commit back to the throttle. Again, this car, it's all-wheel drive. It is a bit understeering. Now, for me on the hard tires, this is where I won't be able to be as aggressive back on the throttle just because the one all-wheel drive, the car's going to want to push anyway, but the hard tires is going to exacerbate that. So maybe if you're on the softer tires, you can really mash the throttle here. You can give it a little more steering and lean on those fronts a bit more, and the car will probably track out fine. For me on the hards, I probably got to be a little bit more careful as far as how I apply the throttle. But second gear here out, unwind the wheel. If you don't have anybody on your outside, unwind the wheel, let the car come out to, the left side of the track. Again, all-wheel drive car, the sooner you can get the wheels kind of straightened out, the less stress lean you're putting on the tires, the faster you can accelerate out. First gear, second gear, third gear, come down the back straight, bring it out to the right side. I find that if you've gotten a really good run out of turn 2, if you leave it in third, you're going to be banging the rev limiter maybe about a second before you need to brake. So it's up to you if you want to wind it out in third. I think for me, I'll just be doing it in fourth gear, and I'll be up in fourth at this point. So turning in, I'm going to probably clip the inside here a little bit, straddle that. And what I'm trying to do, and I've done stuff in the thing. It's like if I'm using a reference point, I'm doing it enough by feel now where I'm not consciously looking for it. But if I'm going to clip the inside here, I'm going to have the front of the car pointed straight at the light pole that's straight ahead there. Because what that's going to do is it's going to line me up for the inside, the next right-hand kink to set up my braking, which then puts me on line, for the next corner. So I'm going to come straight back across, still on the gas. Braking is going to be right about where this curbing begins. I think we're about where it begins. This is where I forget my references. But essentially, I'm going to brake, 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 brake. I am going to, it might be where it ends, but I'm going to be braking along that. So remind me when I get into the mock race of what I was doing. But the intent is I'm going to brake in a straight line towards, at this point, you can say I'm a little off center from the light pole now, but I'm aiming for the cones if they're still there. There's the pedestrian bridge, or not pedestrian bridge, the gantry. Past that, there's also, you can kind of see the blue and white outside curbing. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to actually just do my braking in a straight line, and then when I release the brakes, then I can turn and get back to throttle. It's what I tend to do. I'm not, again, I always say I'm not a really good trail braker into the corner. I'd rather get my braking done, release the brakes, and then use the throttle to bounce through the rest of the corner. But that's my preference. But it'll be brake, 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 down to second gear. I'm going to let the car, as I'm getting to the end of the blue and white curving here, on the left side, this is about where I'm going to be releasing the brakes and turning in and going back to throttle. And if I do it right, you can see the discoloration on the inside of the curving here. So absolutely, I'm going to try and use this curving on the inside. It's nice and smooth, doesn't upset the car. Let the car arc out all the way back out to the left side, kind of back onto the line you would be on if we were running either of the other two layouts, where we're coming straight down towards the right-hander into the stadium section. So I'm still going to use, and I never look and see what those are on the other side. I'm assuming they're speaker stands here on the left. I'm using that kind of as the reference. I'll be out here on the left, maybe cheat over the line a little bit, but as soon as that starts to go out of view, that's when I want to turn in. Still second gear. I'll be winding up in second gear, and this is one where the softer tire compounds are going to have an advantage, because you're going to be able to carry more speed in here. You're probably going to be able, I think, especially the softs, you get the line right, you're going to be able to probably do this flat. So that'll be the experiment. Second gear, you're probably going to have to bump it up to third, turn it in. It is a late apex, so the second half of this curving is where I'm going to try and drop the right sides across. Now for me, I might have to do a little bit of steering adjustment. I might have to do a little confidence lift to take some of the torque out of the front tires to help the car turn in. But that'll probably be me for the hards. Soft guys, you might be able to just turn a little more steering in to keep the car on track. Let it track out. Again, rough curving on the left side, so use it at your own risk. Again, it's not, at least my experience is, it's not enough where you have to worry about the car just losing control and spinning out. I just would say it's uncomfortable. So if you don't like a lot of rattling in your wheel and having to, fight with it a little bit, try and be neat and tidy off there, and only use that when you absolutely have to. Bring the car back across to the right side, heading into the next corner. For me, and again, the practice laps put the line there for the timing line. For me, the braking is still, if I can't see the braking line, I'm trying to gauge where the end of the green tire bundles is on the right side there. You can even kind of see the orange behind it. That's what it looks like during the daytime. Guaranteed, we're probably going to do a little bit of night driving. So we'll have to see how that works out. Third gear at this point, so brake, 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 down to second gear. For me, there's a couple different ways to take it. You can do this kind of as a double apex and let the car come out a little bit. For me, I'm, again, because I want to minimize my disadvantage on the harder compound, I'm going to do everything I can to hug the inside. So hug the inside here, maybe even get down a little bit. The car might come above the white line, but then I'm going to bring it back late and then let the car track out. Again, a little bit of rough curving on the right side, so I'm going to try to be neat and tidy. The turn in for this next one, I am going to straddle the curb. And that might, and I'll talk about this more in the final turn, but anytime you're going to straddle the rough curbing, as you come back across it, if you still have any steering in it, you're going to feel the back end kick out. Not so much there, more so in the final corner. So probably third gear here, out, might cut this a little bit. I'm still using the access road here on the right side kind of to help gauge where the braking point is. I tend to follow the braking line more than I used to. It's probably best for this final corner, mid track, middle of the road here. You don't need to be all the way out wide with this car. So middle of the track is fine. The final two corners, uh, my feeling is you can do it in third. I just think the car it's a little too low in the rev range for it. So I would say second. You're probably if you do these final two corners in second, you probably have more consistent exits than if you were to do it in third. But that'll be your choice. So down to second gear. Um, Coming out, this is I don't have an ideal line. I think we're all used to trying to straddle the curbing here on the outside, then bring it back across. But again, this car is very stiffly set up. These curbs are very rough. So if you do that, it is gonna, you're gonna get a good jolt as you come back across the curbing, and it's going to rotate the car. So I still haven't decided how I'm going to attack it. Whether I'm going to go all the way across and try and bring it back, and just deal with the bump, or if I'm going to try and be a little tidier, at least here. Final corners similarly. Ideally, I would love, you can see all the tire marks and people, just completely abusing the inside of this corner. You can cross over the curbing, but it's the same thing as I'm getting back to gas. As the car starts to track out and crosses that curbing again, when you coming back across, it is going to kick the back end out. So you'll just it's not it's not snappy or like that. You just feel the back end. You get a little bit of a slide. Just be ready for it. And out the front straight. And that's a lap of Hockenheim short. So with that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a minute. I'm just going to take a second or so. And again, I'm doing a little bit troubleshooting stuff as well. I'm just trying to find a comfortable way to deal with snap, pop, crackle, and pop on the audio that I never hear. So I'm going to pause the stream for a second, and I'll be right back. Then we'll get into the mock race and see what I can do in traffic. So live streaming and pause. And we're back. So I think let me go ahead and exit To event menu. And give me a second while this is doing this. I'm going to reset the mic just one more time. Again, I don't know if the pausing the stream throws the mic sync out of whack or not, but let's find out. I was smart last time, as I actually we're going to do. Yep. I was smart last time. Actually, the last Thursday night race, before we got into it, I went like, let me go double check what settings Matt uses. So we are going to run 25 laps here, just based off lap time. I think that's in and around what the race will be. Starting time of day. Actually, we're going to go random on that. As far as the race setup, if you're going to set up your own for these races, at least what Matt's doing now on Thursdays, if you want to set up a free play and do your own kind of mock race, he does do random starting day, random weather. Even though if rain comes up, we quote unquote re-roll the weather. But time progression, he's actually doing it 24 hours. So there is going to be a day-night cycle on the Thursday races. Dynamic track rubbering is on at 50%. Drive-a-tar difficulty 8, that's fine. Drive-a-tar is 23. Yep, we're on the hot hatch, and then the last thing I need to set that I didn't, random grid start, but I do want them. We do have a mandatory pit stop. Okay. Would you like to accept these options? Yes. All right. When are we starting? And please no rain. Okay, we are starting at night.
The key to success on Hockenheim Ring's short circuit is going for passes through the technically challenging turns, because passing on the narrow straights can get difficult.
Interesting. I would agree with that one, but we'll talk about passing here, because my honest opinion is this track more than most, this is going to be less about setting up what I would call proper passing. There's only one corner I think you can really set up a proper pass. It's mostly just going to be being consistent yourself and just capitalizing on everybody else's mistakes, and then minimizing your own. So, all right, but for me, I need to change my fuel and tire. Hard tire 100%. I have to run hard tires both stints, though I don't have to refuel, thankfully. So that at least minimizes some of the weight penalty there. And let's go ahead and start race. And it looks like I'm towards the back. I am going to since I'm far enough back, I'm just going to let the other cars go through and then catch back up. So turn 1 is not an ideal place that I would say you would set up a pass, but certainly you get a good exit out of turn 1. Turn 2 is, I think, going to be the ideal place to try and set people up to make it past the inside. Everywhere else really is just going to be capitalizing on mistakes. Since I'm racing the AI cars will race a little bit differently, and certainly each car is some will be better in straight lines, some will corner better, and a little bit of argy-bargy. Oh, a lot of argy-bargy, excuse me. Alright. Take a look down the inside. Yep, I'm still kind of there. I'll leave you room. There's a lot of that inside curve. So I leave some room. My God. Forza Drive-a-Tars. Always good for comedy. That's my own fault. I should have expected. I saw the smoke, and it's like I went all Days of Thunder. It's like you aim for the smoke. I aim for the smoke, and I found out. So, what's my damage? You know what? I'm just gonna put up with it for right now. See how much it, if it's really bad. Oh yeah, the car pulls to the left. So I'll just deal with this for right now. When you're outside, don't kill me. Bang the rev limiter. Alright, so he's gonna hang it out there. Yeah, passing turn one. Yeah, if someone's gotten on the inside of you and they're kind of mostly the way by, your best bet is to maybe back out a little early and see if they can make the corner, and then maybe do the crossover on exit. And I think there's a lot of corners here where you can do that. Where it's less about, as far as defensive driving, it's about forcing the guy to take a line through, or that maybe they a little wide on the exit, and you can cross back over down to the next corner. I don't know how well I can demonstrate that with a wounded car, but I at least want to get, if I can get to lap 12, then I'll pit and we'll see what happens. Yes, I know I have severe vehicle damage, but it doesn't seem to be hurting my lap time all that much. That turned in a little bit more aggressively than I was expecting. I was looking for to try and cut to the right side there, but little Tokyo Drifter there moved enough. Tokyo Drift. I'm getting my genres mixed up. Initial D. There we go. Excuse me. Still gonna hang on. Leave a little room. And I think it's the other thing too, is if you get caught on the outside heading into one, there's just, you've got a lot of runoff room, but discretion's the better part of valor there. It's best to just back off, see if the guy can make the corner, look for the crossover, and if not, then maybe you still get a better run and maybe be able to take a shot in turn two. Yeah, so I'm breaking at the start of that blue curbing. So I was right the first time. Car bumps there. Oh, come on. went to the inside so I get a clear look at where things are at. That's about what I'm trying to do on turn one. You know, just clip that inside red curb, and then the exit. Then I'm not really using a lot of the exit curving on the way out. Okay, so move back over and take a regular line. Little confidence lift on the, oh, that's half second. Almost a second. Wow. So yeah, use the inside curbing at your peril. But what I was saying before I got penalized was, you know, on the upshift, just from the timing of the upshift from the second to third, for me, on the hard tires, it's just worth just cracking the throttle just a little bit. Help the car turn in. That probably is also why I got the penalty, because it turned in a little too much. Yep, I see you. Okay, I'm backing out of that one. Come on. All right, I want to take a look at the outside. Nope, you're going to block that. Bit. Oh, Wheat's driver tires, all sorts of slideways. There we go, on the outside. Please don't run into me. But I'm not going to have enough there, so I'm going to look for the crossover. Especially if Wheat does slideways again. Tires on the curbing there on the inside is not too bad. It's just when you cross over and then cross back, that's when the car's gonna kind of buck a little bit. Yes, I'm releasing the brakes there kind of at that pit blend line that comes across the track there. It's not too bad there. Yes, I know, severe damage. So severe that I'm only running in 5th place right now. Plenty of room. I still don't like running on that curbing there, though. Cross over the line there and open that turn up a little bit. You can do that. Don't know that it's really any faster, but maybe if it helps you see into the corner better. Hey, I can do it flat. So at night, it looks like, you know, that when I was saying the green tire barriers where that ends is a good reference point. Harder to see at night peripherally, but I can definitely see the orange paint on the wall just behind it. What? That's about it. That's about as well as I've done that this race. It's kind of what I'm intending to do. A little too quick in. Oh, that's why you got to be careful on the curbs. I mean, it doesn't help that with the way the brakes are as well. Anytime I'm hitting the brakes, the back end wants to step out. But okay, I'm not really making any headway here, so I'm actually okay. There you go. You got a good idea of where.
Total time penalty is about 2 seconds.
I'm guessing without turning on the track limits, it's on the far side of the blue curbing, the double blue curbing, but then when it goes back to the single, it shifts back as well. So just, if you're going to use that curbing on the exit of one, you got to start bringing the car back over. But we're going to go ahead and pit this lap. I am gaining on fourth, but it's about half distance, so let's go ahead and do that. And then, because I'd like to kind of run some laps in an undamaged car. And, okay, so pit lane entry. I haven't really tried this yet. So I'm gonna brake down to second. I'm just gonna put it mid-track, and I don't think we get caught until pit wall. Just past pit wall. Okay, so my other theory with pit stops is the faster you can get through the menus, especially if it's a short pit lane, the quicker you're going to get out. That's my theory. So hard tires, I'm going to skip that and submit. So the faster I can get through it, even if I get to, like, if you don't have damage and you get to the fuel, even if you're going to take a fuel line, just get it, hit A. Although, yeah, it's my theory. I could be wrong. But there was, I leapfrogged Stu, and that's where we were discussing that. Like, I just bink, and I get through the menus as quick as possible. Because the other thought too is when the pit cycle was finished, I was still behind Wheat by about the same gap as I was when I went in, and it was Stu that wound up like 3.5 seconds back. So there's probably something to be to getting through your menus on pit stops as fast as you can. Full tires. And we'll test that again on this Thursday. So it takes about a lap to 2 laps for the mediums to kind of get into their, I looked and said the color says it's white, but I know it's like at least another lap until they're really kind of at their right operating temperature. You see how the car kind of stepped out? Oh, this is gonna be fun. Maybe not as much fun as I was predicting. That is not the ideal line through turn 2. So I don't know how the drivatar levels are set or chosen, but yes, when I start seeing pathing issues with drivatars, it makes me wonder if they're still kind of leveraging what the actual players have driven. I don't know. Some tracks the drivatars as a whole are better than others. This one, they just seem to not know how much grip they have. Okay, so we're in 8th place with about half the race to go. Let's see now that I've kind of undamaged if I can start eating into the leader's time. Yeah, this car's it's much nicer to drive when it's not damaged. Wondering if I'm kind of surprised that we're halfway through the race and the sun hasn't come up yet. So I'm wondering if maybe in my setting this up, maybe time progression isn't on. Check that for the next race. I mean, I'm not opposed to night racing. I'm just kind of surprised that the sun hasn't started coming up yet. So even there, you know, if you hook the inside curving in the final corner, the back steps out, just keep your foot in it. You should be able to. Now, I can keep my foot in on hard tires. You should be able to do it in the others as well. And worst case scenario, just quick lift and right back on to get the car sorted. Too far out. Turned in a little too early. So I just had to back out late just to make sure I wasn't going too wide on exit. Like that. What I find funny is that, you know, we just passed Wheat's drivatar again off in the gravel, and it's like Wheat's been racing these cars with this. I'm kind of surprised the game didn't put him in the Mazda 323, but I don't know. I don't understand all the voodoo magic that turn 10. Ah, here comes the sun. Go out. Means the sun is finally coming out. Okay. Wow, that makes this really sketchy. This would be one I might say, okay, turn 10, maybe the headlights are turning off a little too soon. And I'm guessing it'll only be this dark for maybe about a lap. But yeah, so front side of the course is lightening up here. Let's see how it is through the infield again. So at least with the 24 progression, 24 times progression on the time, that kind of like, oh, it's still a little dark for no headlights. Is only for about a half a lap or 3/4 of a lap. That's a bad rejoin there. Still not as much grip as I think there is. That was almost a disaster. I think that was more luck than skill on my part. I'd say at this point, I don't know how far I'm in fourth. I don't know if second hasn't pitted yet, but I think it's the age-old issue of the driver tires haven't quite figured out how to race each other in traffic, especially lap traffic. I've made up tons of time. There's Lancia's grinding something. I wonder if turn 10 knows about the possible audio issues there. On your inside. Yep, I'm still here. If someone gets on your inside, it is going to be very difficult for them to make the corner and leave space on the outside. So I'd say into turn 1, if you got somebody on your inside and they're far enough along, just again, discretion's the better part of valor. Gotta run, but I'm not gonna. Seeing how much Ronan's driver tire was sliding through the last couple of corners, chances are he's going to do the same thing here. Well, not too bad there, Ronan. Taking a look. Not close enough, so we'll back off. Got a little bit of a run. Enough, so I'm just going to back off a little bit. Remember I said it's going to be taking advantages of mistakes. Now, Ronan wouldn't get that slideways. If you know, maybe push wide if I could push him into a mistake, but not that seriously wide. Okay, that's about the ideal line through there. Run the needle between the curving. Hey. Still got Mealworm 1.6, but he still has to pit. So at this point it's not getting any more accidents. It's got to be another penalty.
Total time penalty is about 2 seconds.
Well, there's the crossover move I was talking about earlier that you can do there, depending on, you know, if you get stuck on the outside, you know, maybe back off a little bit, see if the if your opponent goes wide. Taken the entire race, but I think I finally got the line through one consistent. It's off again. Bit of a run here, but maybe not enough, especially since the driver tires tend to just blindly come back across the track. But a little wide just to see if I can get a run out of the final corner. And turned in way too early. Okay, won't get it here. But drive car's probably going to be really slow out of the first turn. Got a shot. Gonna take a look. Look the inside just to leave plenty of room. And despite that, he finds the wall. And that is Hockenheim short in this Mazda 323. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be. It's going to be like Maple Valley. It's going to be It's going to be like any of the races we've had. It's focus on just being consistent, minimizing your mistakes. Looking to capitalize on others' mistakes. But some of that also is making sure you're not so close to the guy in front of you that if you again, it's like you want to find that right gap. If you're going to capitalize on somebody's mistake, you want to be close enough to do that, but not so close that you get caught up in it. So that's just general racing advice there. But I'm going to take a short break, and then I'm going to come back, and I think we have, is it Lime Rock? I think it's like Lime Rock Alt, or I'm not sure if it's Alt or full Alt, but definitely Lime Rock with the wonderful chicanes. So I hope you guys are having a great Sunday so far. We'll see you in a little bit. But first, I do have to see myself on the podium. And again, it keeps resetting my driver gear, and I'm not sure why. I mean, it's nice, but it's not the one I would prefer to run. So I'm not sure why it does that. Let's see if I can fix that too. Hey, 332. Okay, now I'm going to take a break.